Oh, forgot I got glasses on. Good evening again, YouTube. It's People7, otherwise known as Purple Butterfly People.blogspot.com and people elsewhere on the internet. And it just occurred to me that I spend a lot of time talking about shrinking my hair, but you may need to know how to unshrink your hair if you shrink your hair on purpose the way I do. It's a real simple method. Basically, what you're going to be doing is shingling in some moisture, stretching, and then, the next day your hair is back to its normal length without having to detangle or anything like that. You're going to need three things, well, four actually. First, you want some water in a spray bottle. Mine is vinegar, water, a couple of other ingredients that I like to throw together for my hair at any given time. And I always start with water because, as you know, my hair is just friendlier when I add this stuff. Then you want your moisturizer. Mine is 14-in-1 Hawaiian Silky Miracle Worker. Well, I said that right in one shot. But I always pour it in here because that way I can put my hand in or dip my comb in or however you want to do that. I've been suffering from a nasal infection all week, so forgive me if I have to, go like this because after 8 nose beignets, I'm a little itchy. Then you want a silk, satin, polyester, or non-cotton scarf because this is what you're going to sleep in. And it's getting tangled up on my ear gear, but we'll fix that. Then you want a comb or brush, or the thing I use is actually called a two structure. Sometimes it's called a wave enforcer type comb, but that's what I use. Now, I randomly sectioned my hair off, without, any place that I had a little give or confrontation with a tangle. I just went on ahead and worked around it. So your sections really are going to be very random, so you don't have to worry about that part in the middle. And I turned it off. Hold on. I just give it a spray because you really want to re-wet it, especially if you've shrunk it. A lot of times I don't use the comb or the brush. I just go like this. But since I managed to get it stretched at 50% or more, that means there might be a couple more tangles. And for some odd reason, anybody correct me if I'm wrong, but for my hair, for some odd reason, when it's shrunken, it's drier, So even when my hair maintains moisture at its normal 3C level, it tends to be really, really dry when I shrink it down to a 4A looking format. Now, I take my wave enforcer, brush, comb, whatever you want to call it deal, and I literally dip it into my 14-in-1, and then I just literally slide the comb right on through. Because 14-in-1, or for that matter, any moisturizer, is going to make it real easy to avoid tangles. And then I'm just going to, I'm going to twist this section. A lot of times I just go ahead and I do a single, strand twist like this, so that way I don't have to worry about a definitive curl pattern. I'm just getting the curl level back to where it's supposed to be. And this one is not going to be so easy. I also take smaller butterfly clips to anchor the clamps out of the way as needed. Hopefully you can see that. I'm in my room again where the lighting's not so great, but it's bedtime and I can't go downstairs and disturb a whole house full of people because I want to play my hair on camera. Okay, so now we're going like this. Oh, well, that other section you decide to join. Well, we'll let it do that. My hair is happier when I let it do whatever it wants. Now, in between that big chunky section, I can feel there's a couple of sections that didn't stretch out with that water. So I just go ahead and pull that. The same way I did with the first one. Now, because this is a bigger section and there may be a tangle, I'm going to take my hand like this, put it at the base of the section, and literally make a tight fist. That way, hold on, trying to get some of the moisturizer off the comb, don't want too much. That way if there is a tangle and I pull, I'm not pulling at my roots, because that, ask any child who's ever had to sit while mommy's doing their hair, can be rather painful. And then we just worked our way up. See, there's a tangle there, and now the tangle's nowhere. And now that I've gotten through most of that section, I could just go ahead and put more moisturizer further up. And when you use a moisturizer or oil or shea butter or coconut oil or any sealing product that you're going to use, you don't want to just put it on the ends and smooth and continue on. You want to get as close to the root or even the scalp as possible, because the reason it seals in the moisture is because it's blocking the, too much moisture from escaping. And it's only going to do that if it's at the root level all the way down, the shaft of the hair. Oh, and sometimes when I use a lot of the moisturizer, I get a glob of it like that. I just scrape that right back on into the tube. That way I can reuse it. Now look at that. Already halfway back to what's normal for me instead of this. Or actually, let me take out this section so you can see a comparison. Okay, well, hopefully you can see. This is the shrunken hair, and this is my re-stretched hair. So, and guess what? It will dry at its normal level, even if I don't twist it or whatever. I am going to take this clamp and just literally hold it. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a twist out or a braid out on that, but I do know I'm not wearing it to church shrunk, because this time it actually shrunk to the level I wanted. But after 12 hours, it's like doing a slight pull at my scalp because the moisture is gone. There we go. Back to my normal level. And this time I'm just going to put the moisturizer right on my hand because this is a small section. There. And if you're like me, you always have more than one comb available. Because the other one is actually sitting in my moisturizer right now. So instead of dripping that stuff across my blanket, I'm just going to go ahead and ta-da. Oh, and there's your length check, ladies and gentlemen. What's at my chin now? In the front. Usually it's only at my chin on the sides, and the front usually stops just below my eyes. Sometimes my nose, depending on if I trimmed that week. Now this section I am actually going to twist and take it over to the side, just because I am not going to want that hanging in my face when it's all said and done. Oh, and that is another thing you need to be aware of. Whichever direction your hair is going while you're doing this or dries is where it's going to be for the... Yep, that happened. That's where it's going to be for the finished product. Which means like this section here on the side, I want to hang down. I'm going to make sure I direct the hair down during this process. I'm not going to sit there and clamp it over this way because it's convenient to keep it out the way, because then it'll lift up like this instead of lay down like that. So back to the water. I'm going to do the rest of it much quicker, off camera of course. because when I'm not thinking about it, I just up and do it, and I get done very quickly. But when I'm trying to do the video and make sure you can see everything, then I end up going like 3 times slower than I normally would. Now, back to the holding it. There we go. And now I'm going to dip the comb. Technically, this is a brush. It's got 3 prongs, so it's actually thin as a comb, but it's a brush made for defining wavy and curly hair. Go to Sally's and get yourself one of these. This one is called the, hold on, see if you can see that. This one's called Tool Structure. The first one I ever had was called Wave Enforcer, and when that got misplaced, I went to get another one. They didn't have them anymore, so I ended up getting that one. And his little cousin here, which has a rat tail on the other end of it, but it's